welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're doing great. Thank you so much guys for always coming back. If you're watching me for the first time, you're very much welcome. My name is Cynthia, and for my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channels. I will link them in the description box. This is what we're going to be making today. So I'm going to be using two different prints. So I'll be using roughly 2.5 yards of fabric for this tutorial. I'll be using two different prints. This will be for the upper part, and then this will be for the down part. I will add a little bit of this to the down part. As you can see, this other print matches with this one here. I'll be using 1 yard of fabric for this print. That's for the upper part, and 1.5 yards of fabric for this print. The upper part is supposed to be half yards. The reason I'm using 1 yard is because I'm going to be using this also for the lining. I'm only adding lining to the upper part. So if you want to add different fabric for the lining, or better still, you can make the dress without adding lining to it. If you're using a different fabric for the lining, you will be using half yards of fabric for the upper part and 1.5 yards for the down part. For the upper part, I will measure from my shoulder to the upper bust measurement. So my upper bust measurement is 8.5 inches. I will come down 1 inch from the upper bust measurement. That is 9.5 inches. So I'll be using 9.5 inches for the upper part. I'll fold the fabric into two. I'll be cutting both the lining and the normal fabric together. So I have two pieces here. This is the front. I will fold it into two. To know the amount of fabric you cut out, you use the biggest part of the upper part to cut out the fabric, and the biggest part of the upper part is the bust measurement, and I added about 2 to 3 inches allowance to it. This is the front and this is the back. So I folded the back also into two. This is the front and this is the back. The back is 1.5 inches bigger than the front because of zipper allowance. So I will go ahead and place the measurements. Like I said earlier, the upper part is 9.5 inches. So I will take it from my shoulder to my upper bust measurement, which is 9.5 inches. So I have 10.5 inches here. I will use 1 inch for sewing allowance. I will use ½ inch for the upper part and ½ inch for the down part. The shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches plus ½ inch sewing allowance. So I'll mark it in ½ inches here. I will take 3.5 inches for the neck width. I will mark 1.5 inches for the back depth and 3.5 inches for the front depth. So I will curve the neckline. I will curve the front also. So we go to the shoulder here, mark 1 inch for shoulder slope. So we connect it right from the neckline here. From the shoulder slope, I will take my round armhole measurement. My round armhole measurement is 17 inches divided by 2 is 8.5 inches. So that's the chest line. I will make a line here. I will look for the midpoint of the armhole measurement. And make a curve right from this midpoint. This is the back armhole. And I will come inside by ½ inch. This is the front armhole. So this is my chest line. So right on this chest line, I will place my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. Now add 1 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for ease. So go ahead and cut it out. I'm cutting out the back neckline. So this is the front. And we cut out the front neckline. Then cut out this 1/2 inch. So I added sewing allowance already to it. 1/2 inch sewing allowance for the upper part and 1/2 inch sewing allowance for the down part. We will go ahead and cut out the mid part. We have 3 sections. This is the first one. This is the second one and the small patch, and I'll be adding 3 inches to the down part. So I will use this to cut out the down part. I will measure what I have here. The down part is gather. I will times this by 2. So I have 25 inches. So 25 times 2 is 50 inches. I'm going to be cutting out 50 inches for this, 10 inches for the front one, then the back I will add 1.5 inches for the back side. So I'm cutting out times 2 of this for the bottom. So let me measure what I have here. So I have 25 inches here. I folded into 2. So folded into 2 is 25 inches. When you open it up, you have 50 inches. I doubled this because I'll be making a pleat with this. The length is 27 inches. So the back is also 50 inches, but I added about 3 inches in the zipper allowance to the back side. We'll be cutting out the sleeves. I will cut the 2 together. So I'll fold my fabric into 2. I'm making a short sleeve. The length of my sleeve is 8.5 inches. And I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance. My round sleeve is 14 inches. Divided by 2 is 7 inches. Plus 1 inch sewing allowance. That is 8 inches. So I'll mark 8 inches here. This is my armhole measurement, 8.5 inches. I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance. That is 9.5 inches. So I'll go down by 4 inches. I'll look for the midpoint. I'll take it from here, okay, and then bring it down to the down part. So I'll cut it out. So we cut out the sleeves. We'll go ahead and cut out the pocket because I'll be adding pockets to the dress. I'm cutting out 4 at a time. I will fold it into 2. Fold it again because I'm cutting out 4 at a time. To cut out the pocket, I will place my hand like this. I'll add some space to it or allowance to it. So I have 4 pockets here. 2 for the right and 2 for the left side. So the next thing we are going to cut out is the 3 inches. I'll be adding these 3 inches to the bottom of the dress. So I will use the same measurement I used for this to cut out this. I will still times it by 2. I will be adding it at the bottom here. So this is 50 inches. And this is 50 inches. And I cut out 4 inches length. I'll be using 1 inch for sewing allowance. So that's it for the cutting. We'll go ahead and put the fabric together. We'll start with the upper part. I will split the back open. I will also split this open. This is the upper part. So we'll go ahead and join the lining and the normal fabric together. I will place the front panel against each other, right side facing each other. So I will sew the neckline with 1/4 of an inch. sew the armhole and the side with 1/4 inch. I'll do the same thing to the back. So you lay them against each other. So I'll use 1/4 inch to sew the neckline, the zip line, the shoulder, the armhole and the side. I'll do the same thing for this side. I'm done joining the lining and the fabric together. So I will make a notch before turning it inside out. So I will turn it inside out. So I did the same thing to the back. I've already turned the back inside out. I will sew this side together. So we move over to the down part. What we are going to do is to attach the 3 inches to this part. I'll be attaching these 3 inches to this center part. So this is the first part, this is the second part, and this is the third part. So I will attach this here. I'll use 1/2 inch to join them together here at the bottom. I'll do the same thing for the back side. So guys, I finished joining the 3 inches to this part. And I also do the same thing to the front. What we are going to do is to attach the yoke to this down part. So remember, I cut out ×2 of these because of the gather. I'll use 1/2 inch to join them together. So as I join them together, I will gather these to the measurement of the yoke. I will gather this side also and do the same thing to the front panel. I finished joining the upper part to the down part. This is the front panel. We'll go ahead and attach the zip to the back side. But before I do that, I will sew the pocket to this side. I will come down 2 inches from my waistline. So from my shoulder, I will measure 19 inches. So this is 19 inches. So I will turn my pocket this way. The right side of the pocket is facing the right side of the dress. So I'll use 1 inch to join them together. Remember, 1 inch is my sewing allowance. So I will do the same thing to this side and the back panel. So after I've done that, I will attach the zip to the back. So these are the 2 back panels. So I will attach my zip here. My zip is up to here. I will join this side. My zipper allowance is 1.5 inches. I will use 1.5 inches to join this side. I will take my zipper allowance, attach my zip to this side, and turn it to the other side. So I'm done attaching the zip to the back side. I've also attached the pocket to the dress. So we'll go ahead and join the front and the back together. So I will lay them against each other. I will use 1/2 inch to join the shoulders and use 1 inch to join the side. 1 inch is our sewing allowance. So I will sew it right from the chest line, bring it to the pocket. I will sew the side of the pocket and bring it down to the down part. I will do the same thing for the side. Use 1 inch to join them together. I will take it to the pocket and then bring it down to the bottom of the dress. So after I've done that, I will join the 2 sleeves together. I will hem it with 1 inch and use 1 inch to join the side of the sleeve. I'll finish joining them together. This is the part. I've joined the sleeve also. So I will go ahead and attach it to the dress. I will turn the dress to the wrong side. And I will turn the sleeve to the right side. So I will tuck the sleeve inside. I will match the side seam together. I will use 1/2 inch to join the sleeve to the armhole. I will sew it round. So guys, this is the finished look of the dress. This is the down part. I've attached the sleeve to the dress. This is the pocket. I'll turn it to the back side. So that's it for today, guys. I will see you in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Love you. Bye.